48-hour art check, round 66. All right. So, you are back.
I am. This is the third time, and probably has it been a week?
Yeah.
Not or second.
Yeah, Josh isn't feeling well, and so we called you up, and my camera got shifted, so I'm just gonna move this over slightly. There we go. Yeah, so we're thinking for this. Oh, I have a new button. Check this out. Just so that I don't have to say it, I have some Beatles on the screen that will come and. They will say that you should share this live stream so that people can come on. And then if you haven't liked and subscribed, there's going to be a wasp that comes on occasionally and tells you to do that. Yeah, so there's my insect minions doing my shameless promotion for me. But yeah, welcome back, Scott. Tell everybody where they can find you here at the beginning.
Yeah, you can find me at circworks.com, SERKWORKS, and Circworks Art Labs on YouTube, or just Circworks on YouTube. I'm sure you can find me there.
Okay, so before we jump into the art check, I thought it would be kind of fun if Scott and I were to take a few minutes and pitch each other books. This is something that most creatives that I know love to do. It's like, dude, have you read this? And so I'm going to call this episode, Dude, Have You Read This? I think.
All right.
So I'll start. And so I don't know what Scott has brought, and he doesn't know what I brought.
Okay.
But Lady Killer. Have you read Lady Killer?
I've heard of it, but I have not read it. No.
Yeah, Lady Killer's legit. So it's Joelle Jones, who I believe is now drawing either Catwoman or Batman. But I
saw her on an interview Dan Ickes did.
Yeah.
So
she's awesome. And this book is one of the things I love about this book is that she does this ink splatter thing with kind of different brushes and stuff, and it's this juxtaposition between this like 50 housewife who is also like a hit woman, and anyway, it's just a phenomenal book, and so there's 2 volumes of it out on trade paperback, and I've got one of her pages. Actually, I've got 2 of her pages, but she's an incredible artist, and she I believe she wrote and illustrated the 2nd volume. The 1st volume, somebody else wrote it with her, and she illustrated it. But it's just it's really fun book, and it's fairly violent, so if you're not into violence, you could kind of stay away from that. But that's my first recommendation.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, so like, I'm trying to figure out where to start. Like, I've been on this kick where I've been trying to go back and catch up on books or comics that have been recommended to me, but I haven't. It's like I haven't got around to. So one of them that I finished was Jimmy Corrigan, which Josh has been talking about forever. That was a little while back. I finished that, and it's weird because I haven't. Well, I guess I could. Well, this is one that was recommended to me. You know this one, right?
Oh,
obviously. Yeah. You're a big fan. Okay, so I've only read this 1st volume, and I think I need to get further into it because finishing this, I wasn't like blown away. I think it's just reading it. I mean, it was good and everything, but it didn't for all the accolades it got.
Right.
And I think I need to get further because it didn't really, to me, it didn't separate itself that much from other superhero comics. But I know going from what I've heard that's not the case if you continue to read, that it is quite a different story. So I don't know, maybe you could sort of sell me whether I should continue to read this or not. I mean, it was good, but a lot of these books, the problem with a lot of these books that I'm reading is they've been so hyped and so many people have told me how great they are that maybe maybe my expectations are too high, or again, maybe I just haven't got far enough into them.
Yeah. I will say this about Invincible. it's a phenomenal book, but I feel like it does take it's Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead who writes it, and it starts off with Cory Walker illustrating it, and then it transitions to Ryan Ottley, who I think drew it for over 10 years, and Cory jumped in occasionally, and I feel like it took Kirkman a few issues to kind of find his legs in that one. I mean, he's a great writer, obviously, but I think he was feeling it out, and it's a little bit of a slow burn at the beginning. Without giving anything away, I don't think in the first trade paperback that you get to the part that is.
I think I've heard that spoiler. A certain character may have been not what you think he is.
So
type of thing.
I will say very seldom do I audibly respond to a comic book, but I literally was like, no way, and stood up. It was crazy. So it was
okay.
And then from there, it gets nuts, and it's quite good. I really like it, but it is kind of a slow burn because at first it's just like the main character's a teenager. He's going to high school. He's got a best friend. He works at a fast food place, and it's kind of a lot of slow burn. But you get to the point where it's also unlike a superhero comic because, or a typical one, because most of the action kind of happens in between page turns. Like you'll jump into the end of this giant world-ending battle, and then it's just like, all right, so dinner, or and so the tone of it is a little bit. It takes a little bit to get used to, but I love Invincible. I think Invincible is awesome, so I would keep reading it. It takes up this much of my shelf. I have like 2 feet of it because I got all the Ultimate editions. But yeah, it's really good. I would recommend.
All right, cool. So thanks for recommending the book that I'm recommending.
Okay.
Sort of recommending.
I don't know how to pronounce these guys' names. Waters, Wingard, and Campbell. This book. Oh, I'm reversed. Let me flip myself real quick here. Flip horizontal. There we go. This is called Limbo. Have you read Limbo?
No, I haven't.
This is a weird book, like in such a good way. It starts off with this guy. It's all 80s tech mixed with voodoo and Santeria and weird stuff. So you've got people that are like conjuring old gods through mixtapes and things like that. And like it just starts out like super weird. This main character is discussing like where the best lizard on a stick is in town and to eat. And then it goes from there. He's getting these phone calls. You've got kind of like Day of the Dead mixed with, let me find some, this is somebody like summoning one of the old gods through a mixtape, and like the cassette tape like turns into this talking person. The art and writing is really interesting. It is an exceptionally strange book, but it's almost worth it just because the world building is just so much fun. There's these fish people that are super crazy. There's this guy called the Teleshaman who is able to travel in between people's TVs and pull people into cable television hell where he tortures them with old reruns of things. It's a super weird book, and I really enjoy it. And I read it on the recommendation of a student of mine a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh man, and I forgot everything about it other than I really enjoyed it. And I just read it again last week, and it's so good. I highly recommended Limbo. So if you can get a hold of it, it's pretty good.
Okay, cool. All right, next one. This is a very popular one, but that I just finally got around to reading. Smile by Rena
Oh, my daughter loves that book. I haven't read it.
Telgemeier, yes. So I may. This is another one that it's a great book, but I don't know if it's just because maybe I'm too old at the time. I was trying to get my daughter to read it. I could never get her to read it. But no, it's super fun. I love the art style. I love the expressions and everything.
Can you show some of the art to the cameras?
Yeah.
Curious. Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, this is it's basically the story. It's autobiography. I got a lot of autobiographies here. But basically, some trauma she went through when she, fell and like basically knocked out two of her teeth and everything, and all the dental stuff she went through, and then going through basically grade school to high school and everything. But again, this is like New York Times bestseller like 100 times over. So it's just one that I had to get to. But storytelling wise, everything's great. And but as a whole, just for me, I don't know. Again, I guess I was just hoping for more. And I don't want to say that it's because obviously, I mean, this is a brilliant book, but I don't know. Sometimes I just build up these expectations and it ruins for me. So I have to stop waiting so long to read these things. But again, and I'm not really the target market, even though I do like kids stories. I mean, I write kids stories, and more or less, But anyway, so yeah, but it's it kind of speaks for itself. I mean, but I want to read more of her books anyway because I mean she's an awesome cartoonist and everything. So
yeah, and my daughter is about to turn 9. She loves that book. I haven't read it. Let's do one more piece, real quick ones.
Okay.
Tale of Sand. Okay, so Jim Henson wrote a screenplay that did not involve Muppets, and it was a really
I have not heard of this.
Oh man, it is a really weird, almost silent. There's some talking thing. Ramon Perez draws it, and it's amazing. It's one of the things is Sergio Tappi. So you've got Jim Henson, and then the characters here at the beginning, and it actually starts with the actual manuscript, but you can't read it. It just begins bleeding into the book, and so eventually the manuscript fades out, and you get this book. This guy wakes up in the desert, and it's a really trippy comic because so much of it is so expertly executed. But it was intended to be a movie, and sometimes that doesn't go well. But I mean, you have like football players chasing like Arabian Peninsula traders with pirates driving Cadillacs, and lions and wolves, and then a limousine, and I mean, it's just like it's this weird adventure through the desert. And it's really good because the whole time you have no idea what's going on, but it's very satisfying the way that it wraps up. It's a strange thing, and it actually feels like you're watching an experimental film, which is a fascinating kind of experiment with, I think, sequential storytelling that you don't see often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Henson fan, so I've definitely got to get that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to kind of show two books, but I'm not going to go too in-depth because I haven't finished either of them yet. So I started reading this one, Delilah Dirk and the Turkish Lieutenant by Tony Cliff.
That's a great book.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork and the storytelling, as far as I got, is just, I mean, it's just beautiful. The coloring and everything, it's totally like Indiana Jones adventure. I mean, just high adventure. I mean, it's a beautiful book. And so the reason why I didn't finish because I started reading this, and then for my girlfriend's birthday, I bought her tickets to see Fun Home. It's a Broadway play, but it's based on a graphic novel, and I also bought her the graphic novel. Apparently, she already read it. I didn't realize that because she doesn't like read comics or anything. She's a voracious reader, but she doesn't usually read comics. But she read this one because she liked the play so much. So she already read it. So we're gonna go see the play on Wednesday. So I figured, well, maybe I should read it. So I took the book that I got her for her birthday, and so I kind of switched over to this because I want to try to read it before I see the play. I don't know if I'll get through it because I mean I can definitely get through it if I make the time. Right. But so far it's really good. But it's like, this is the kind of stuff like if you're into like Josh's stuff or Jimmy Corrigan, it's very, again, it's autobiography. It's about kind of her tragic upbringing and her sexuality and everything. And it's really good the way, I mean, just visually the way it, again, brilliant cartoonist. So, and I'm a little less than halfway through so far, and it's a downer, but it's really good. So,
That's cool.
but I'm anxious to see, because the book is a musical, and typically, I mean, the play is a musical, and typically there is some comedy in it, but it's not, So I'm curious to see how the play is versus the graphic novel.
Yeah.
But so far, I mean, again, it's hard to recommend a book I haven't finished. But that's what I'm reading right now. So and so far so good. It's just it's good. I just it's sort of a downer. It's weird. It's like I've been reading all these sort of depressing books, and I mean usually that's not. I mean, and I kind of throw in some, like, I've been reading some just regular, like, single floppy comics. Like, I've been reading the new West Coast Avengers, which is totally just crazy, eccentric characters. I mean, it's just nuts, and but that's kind of a good break between something like this. So, but that's pretty much what I've been reading. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
And we have Greg Kimball in the chat. And he's got a recommendation. He said, before you started, you asked us for ideas too. Have you heard of Nick, and I don't know how to pronounce that last name, Ranso's Sabrina? And I haven't. But he says he saw a video essay on it, and it sounds brilliant. The only graphic novel nominated for a Man Booker Prize. So, so yeah, check that out. I'm gonna take a look at that. That sounds pretty good too. And hey, Greg, I think, is our first person to try out my my on-screen chat that I'm experimenting with. So I'm gonna find a way for it to come on.
Question about the on-screen chat, because I mean, now that YouTube has its own chat and it's live, what is the benefit to having that on screen as opposed to just look over on on YouTube?
Yeah, he's saying it's Duranzo spelled wrong. No problem. I actually kind of messed up the chat myself. So anyway, the idea is this, and I don't want to get too much into it, but YouTube's algorithm seems to punish live streams after they're not live. So it rewards live streams while they're live, but then it punishes them after they go live. So I'm actually toying with the idea of not leaving my live streams up, cutting them a little bit. Kind of tops and tails, getting some of the ums and ahs at the beginning where we kind of get some weirdness, taking out the 60-second at the front, and then uploading kind of a cleaner version that'll live forever on YouTube. And because it rewards that type of content after you put it up. And so if that's the case, the chat will go away if I'm not leaving it live. So it's something I'm toying with because of some of the things that we're planning on doing, like an audio podcast. There's been several people in the chat that have asked if we've ever considered doing an audio podcast, and I'm 90% of the way figuring that out, a workflow that makes sense as well. So it's just one of those. There's about a dozen things that I need to figure out before I pull this trigger on kind of whatever phase 3 of this thing is. So that's just that's my reasoning for it. So
okay, cool. Sounds like a lot more work, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
the good thing about live streams is you can just put them up there. But yeah, I wasn't aware of that kind of negative effect it has afterwards. So.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm doing is trying to structure the show in a way that it can be chopped up easily, because I don't want to go through and watch it again, because they're usually half an hour long. But there are on-screen visuals that will happen. There are on-screen visuals that will happen while certain things are going on that I can use as kind of markers to kind of edit different things like that. And so I'm trying to speed up the process without declining the volume, the quality at all. So we'll see. I spend way too much time on this thing already, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's good, and I think I enjoy it, and it's good for my art, and Josh likes it, and so we'll kind of see. And I think there's some pretty diehard viewers that come onto the chat pretty frequently, given that we're on at night in the weekdays, 3 times a week. We have lots of people that come on that are kind of regulars in the show, and so it'll be fun to also include them visually rather than just mention their names. I think it's fun to see the comments up there. So anyway, it opens us up a little bit for trolling, which could also be kind of funny. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah. Yeah, so you want to do an art check?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So we will start with progress, and I'll jump on here. I did, and I've got to kind of move this around. I was able to get done Cuphead Koopa, and I also did Valerie from the Pussycats, Josie and the Pussycats, and Popeye the Barbarian up there. Let's see if I can find this. Can I find it? Where is it? There. Nope. Anyway. You can see top of Popeye's head later, I guess, because I can't find it. But anyway, yeah. So that's those are the things I've done on that, and it's slowly chugging along. So what have you gotten done in the last couple days?
Okay, yeah. Let's see. So I've been. Where's the timer? Is the timer there?
Yep.
Let's see. Okay. So I've been working on Inktober. I did a Scary Clown, and I did. Phantom of the Opera, and that little logo right there. So I'm doing a vlog, or not a blog on my new website, and it's basically all about the 20th anniversary of Cirqueworks. So I did that graphic for it, and I've been just working on that blog, and it's not up yet, but that's what I've been working on. So. Oh,
that's cool. And the blog is about. The 20th year celebration, or it's about what's happening?
Well, that's the first blog post is, but the blog will be whatever I decide to update people on, but that'll be the first post once it goes live. So
cool, that's awesome. Yeah. So as far as challenges go, same old stuff. I feel like I'm just going to complain about the same things over and over again. Yeah. So I'm still. Doing health stuff. I had to go to the chiropractor today because I had this thing in my back that was making it. I should have gone like a month ago, and now I have KT tape on either side of my spine, and I thought it was a gimmick, but holy crap, it is helping so much. It's like this weird athletic tape that's stretchy, and you wear it for like 7 days at a time. And I went in and I told the guys, like, yeah, I'm at a drawing table, and sometimes I lean on my left arm and I'm hunched over all the time, and did all kinds of weird stuff, and it felt great afterwards. It really helped because it's been really painful for a while. And then he's like, yeah, okay, now go down to Walmart and buy this stuff, and you have to get this specific time. It has to have the word pro in it because pro means waterproof for this particular thing. And I had to have my wife put it on because I can't reach back there because there's like a special way you put it on. And I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And I don't know what about it. It's probably a placebo effect, but it feels great. And it's kind of they say it's proprioceptive response. I'm talking too long. My timer's gone away like a minute ago, but it keeps. I'm just really excited because my back is hurt for weeks. But it's a little tug when you sit wrong. It kind of stretches and pulls, and so it's a little mental reminder to sit correctly. And so anyway, I was joking on Twitter that they have all of these volleyball athletes and gymnasts and everything that are they've got it all on their super lean athletic bodies, but they don't have like a fat cartoonist hunched over his desk. I feel like that's really who this is for. Anyway, it's working, so that's that. So yeah, how about you? Challenges in the last couple of days?
Okay, yeah. So challenges, it's just finding time is the biggest challenge. I've got till the end of the month at the day job, and it's kind of at the point where I've got all this stuff I want to do to get started on either my, kind of branching out with my social media or all these other projects that I'm trying to get done. And it's like just finding pockets of time. Or getting ready for when I do have those days off where I can kind of have a schedule and I just have all this stuff I got to do and finding time to do it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty consistent one. I feel that.
yeah.
Yeah. So as far as plans, my plans were on Monday or on Friday that I was going to get to Optimus, and I will be getting him tonight because I had to do some other characters that were kind of around him to make sure that he fit in that space. And then I've got to draw. I've got to draw another one, and I'm still kind of deciding which two characters to mash up. I think I have one of them the way that I want them, and so I've got to kind of pencil those in. So I get pencils and inks on some characters before we meet again. How about you for plans?
Okay, yeah. So continuing with Inktober. So far I haven't missed a day, so I'm doing good with that. And I'm working on creating a shop on my website for digital goods. I've got one for physical, but then I'm doing another one for digital. Still not exactly sure if I should put those two together or separate. I'm thinking separate. So hopefully I can get around to doing that. That might be in the weekend before I get to that. But
are you going to embed Gumroad or another third party, or are you going to go straight from Squarespace on that?
Straight from Squarespace. Squarespace lets you upload, upload, files and stuff. So I ended up having to get the biggest tier thing they offer because I didn't realize. I just wanted the basic e-commerce package, but I wasn't aware that I couldn't connect with Printful through that. So I had to go with the big plan, which means I got to sell some T-shirts and stuff on my website because otherwise it's not going to be worth it. So, but again, that's, Christmas is coming up and everything, holiday shopping. So hopefully I can get everything up in order, getting stuff ready to run some sales and see if I can start selling some T-shirts and stuff like that. So, and I've got a new T-shirt design. I just haven't put it on my store yet. I got the haters hate, creators create. So I still don't have that. I was wearing that at the art casters last time. So
is it similar? Is it similar to the poster?
No, it's quite a bit different. It's all I really like the poster. I just don't know if it would work for a T-shirt. So it's basically just it's all typography.
Cool.
Script type and block type and so mostly black and white except for the creative has some color like bursts coming out of it and everything.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay. Let's call it. We're
all right. Cool.
We're right at half an hour. So, if you haven't already, like this video and get a chance to share this or other videos on my channel or Scott's channel. That's one of the best things that you can do to help us out. And it doesn't cost you anything other than your social credit, whatever that is worth. And then if you want to check out my stuff, you can go to kuretake.com. And special thanks to Josh's band No Saboteurs for licensing the music. And check out Serkworks.com. That's SERKSWORKS.com. And that's where Scott's got all his good stuff. Brand new stuff and a blog that's up now?
No, the blog isn't up yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on it. Formatting and everything. So
okay, so
I'll probably launch it once I launch the digital store because it's the way my thing's laid out. It makes sense to add 2 new categories rather than 1, so it's even.
Okay.
If you see the website, because there's a logo in the center and then the links on the opposite side. So
gotcha.
It's coming.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Greg, for the recommendation. Thanks, Scott, for the recommendations, and we will see you guys in a couple days. We're out.
All right, later.